just for us, be like bum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum, which is not anywhere close to our introduction song. I don't know why, but that was the first song that came to my mind. Was
I was like, that sounds nothing like what we have.
No, you don't think so?
No, that's like okay, like yeah, you can play it, but like that
That's
is
our intro.
nowhere
That's our
near.
intro for this week. Be like bum ba da, and then you could yell like, "Hi ho, silverware! I'm eating lasagna," and you'd be like, "Okay, well that makes total sense." No. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Two Trolls on a Brew. I'm Samus, he's Travis, and we are talking about episode 115, The Saddest of Beatings.
I
Yeah.
kind of wish I had lasagna now.
Oh man, the wife made lasagna today, so good.
Fuck.
Yeah, it was great. I went to the gym. I was on the bike for like an hour, did a little bit of lifting, came home, and probably gained back 5 pounds.
True.
It was delicious. Effing delicious. Subtitle this week, W question mark. So, I don't know. Before things get too deep, you made it safely back to South Dakota.
Yo.
Did you have a fun drive that you're way too late?
I hate that drive.
Also, it looks like you're still in your apartment.
Yeah, so my van is completely dead.
That's what you said.
Yeah, and currently my apartment, like I have it until the 13th. And
okay. I thought you had it until the 1st. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, well,
so
did I, but then my sister was like, "No, dude, we got it till the 13th." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." But either way, my apartment's like 3 blocks away from my job, whereas the house is about 15 miles.
Yeah,
so,
you mentioned that. You mentioned that last time. I thought you were. I was thrown back from last week. I thought you were kicked out.
No. It'll be like 2 more weeks here, give or take.
Nice. Also, I shaved. I got tired of my big, messy beard, so now I'm like this round little pudgy baby in the camera.
Yep.
Hello. For those of you who'd like to see
it earlier, it definitely looked like you were, reverse aged a bit.
Reverse date. Hang on. For those of you watching,
perfect.
For those of you watching the live stream or watching the video later on YouTube.com, my hair's about 3 months too long. So now when I brush it out of my face, it's just all straight back, like I'm balding. Or when I brush it forward, it's like covering my eyes and crap. So,
do you know how I can tell that you're old?
I mean, it's not the gray. No, it's not the fact that you know that my kid's going off to college in the fall.
It has literally nothing to do with your physical or personal life.
Oh, okay.
You said .com at the end of YouTube, like people wouldn't know where to go.
Well, I'm a web programmer for like a lot of years, and the wwws and the .coms are important. In case someone decided to go to YouTube like YT, like that doesn't work. Or going to twitch.com doesn't work. You got to go to twitch.tv. So
yeah.
I throw those things out there. I call that professionalism.
I call it redundancy.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all the same. You are correct. Most people would probably recognize the shorthand of YouTube.
Like even with a lot of web browsers, they don't even have, it's like you don't even have to type in google.com. You just have a search engine right there built into the okay, well,
URL or taskbar or address bar searching is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is a nice feature. Unfortunately, you do have to remember to switch it to something that actually is useful. Don't forget to do that, folks.
What are you talking about? Bing is great.
Bing is probably one of the better ones now. Like they've quickly become one of the less filtered, I'm going to call it filtered search engines out there. that's
Okay.
available. Of course, the two biggest are still Google and YouTube. Are number one and number
Yahoo.
two for search engines. Yahoo's not even, I don't think, in the top 10.
Wait, YouTube is now used as a search engine?
It's been number two for like 6 years in a row or something. Because like, how many times do you go to look for something and you just type in that search bar to learn about it? Like, I do that stuff all the time. Today I was literally having a conversation with Remington. He's like, man, the truck's running a little weird. I'm like, yeah, it's probably time for the air filter to be replaced. He's like, yeah, you'll have to show me how to do that. And I was like, or you can take your ass to youtube.com and you can search for how to do it. And I bet there's a video.
Yeah, there is.
I pretty much guarantee it for like my truck, my model, like
Mhm.
probably even that color if you like really look around. So like, yeah, it is a search engine. It's for everything. When I audible decks about 12 hours before the PPTQ, I didn't necessarily, I mean, I also searched Google and Bing and some of the various websites, but I went straight to YouTube. I'm like, show me this Esper gift deck and show it to me and show it to me now. And it wasn't there. And I was really annoyed. I was very upset that I could not find anything, which is probably why I had the awesome record of 1, 1, and 2 at that
Hey, that's like
PPTQ.
way better than what I did.
Yeah, I think had I dropped the round, or not dropped, had I conceded game one, the game that, or the round I drew, I think I could have won game three. Like, I didn't give myself enough time, but I was always at that point where if he doesn't have the top deck, I can win this turn kind of situation. Like, I
Yeah.
can turn the corner and win. And it just, like once you resolve a Godparrow's gift and you have a bunch of things in your graveyard and he's pulling out the wrong things with his Scarab God, you're just like, oh, I can do this. And I put him to like 4, I think. And he's like hiding behind his Scarab God and I think one bad counter spell in his graveyard and his Torrential Gearhulk. Like, that's all he's got. And I'm just like, all right, we can make a plan to beat this. And you thought seize like every other turn or something for a couple of turns, and you're like, all right, well, I know what you got, nothing, like, we can do this. And then he's like, well, here's the one thing that you didn't know that was in my hand that I just top decked. Blowout. Like, okay, well, reassemble this, put it all back together, and blowout again. Like, oh, F your couch. But yeah, I thought I'd be able to, like, I won game 2 very handily, and I would have won game 3, I think, very handily had we had another minute. The guy's like, oh man, my hand was nuts if I could have got a 5th mana. Like, I felt that way all previously testing, but that's okay. So anyway, let's hit troll cards and we'll get into the PPTQs, because I know that you went home early too. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
So Leona banned Trailblazer. That's that 04 heroic dude, right?
Correct.
I really like that guy in like the white popper.
That's what I'm playing him in.
Oh, nailed it. Go figure.
Yeah. So yeah, I was playing Popper yesterday because you were like, do we have to tape tonight or can we do it tomorrow? I was like, yeah, dude, we can do it tomorrow. And then I called up my buddy. I was like, hey, man, I got my sister's car. I'm coming down to play Popper. And they're like, yeah, we got 5 other people here. Let's do this. And so I went down there. We were just waiting for one other person, and then we're just gonna enter in some guy that we just have his number on file, and he doesn't play anymore. So we just make him lose all the time. He's got the worst record ever.
Professional loser.
Yeah,
Mr. I finished the 8-mans.
Yep. So we get down there, and the 7th didn't even show up. So we were all just, screwing around play testing. And I had the heroic deck, and my opponent was playing with elves. And on turn 5, turn 6, I was at 116 life, and he was at 156. And I'm like, wow, this is a game of Popper. where no interactions are needed. We just sit and spin. Uh, but no, like he's it's just such a busted card.
Well, it doesn't die to like the most common removal spell in the format, right? Lightning Bolt.
Correct.
And unless you willingly sacrifice it to like a Chainer's Edict, which is probably like the second most common removal spell in the format, there's no real way to kill it.
Right. It just sits there, and if you put anything on it, if you just target it with literally anything, they're like, okay, well, I can't answer that for the rest of the game.
Right. You take it up to a 1/5 or a 2/6 because you put your first enchantment on it.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it's just crazy. Yeah, I looked at the white popper list. I probably at some point will still put it together, but I haven't decided yet really what I want to do, if anything, in popper. Which is weird. We'll get to it in a minute, but I actually ordered some popper cards.
Okay, what'd you order?
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's do my troll card.
Oh, okay. Let's do your troll card.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, everything for consideration or whatever.
My troll card this week is Crested Sunmare. And the eventual winner of the Arena PPTQ played a deck.
Hold on. One moment.
Okay.
Both of our troll cards this week are white horses.
They are, in fact, white horses. I don't know what that says about this. Probably some sort of crazy racial thing.
True.
Like somebody will point out the fact that since both of us like white horses this week as our troll cards, that you're secretly a neo-Nazi and I'm the leader of the KKK or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Nice.
Give it time. Even though, like, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. So, Crested Sunmare took me totally by surprise. But again, like I said, I think this guy won our PPTQ. I was starting to get a really nasty migraine during the semifinals, so I took off. So I don't know for sure, but it was one of my 2 losses was to this guy. And basically what happened was I got to a point where I was holding him back. He had a 1/1 vampire token he made on turn 1. And I played the flying mind brain maggot, whatever that pirate is. I played that, got a good look at his hand. He had nothing. And basically was like, all right, well, I'm going to sit behind this 1/2 flyer as, I start to develop my board. And you just can never attack with your 1/1 vampire, unless you have a really good reason. So eventually I get a couple of creatures down, and I'm like, you know what? I've had like a bunch of turns where I could attack with this 1/2 also, and could have taken a turn off of my clock, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever. If you gain a life and I lose a life, you're still going to be taking 6. I guess that's not the end of the world. So I attack for 6, and he goes, draw, attack you for 1. Gain a life. I'm like, okay. He goes, Sunmare, and slaps down a horsey token. Or a horsey Pokemon card.
Yep.
His other Pokemon card was, I think, one of the
such a good token.
It was really good. But his other one was also blue. It was one of the fish tokens.
Okay.
I forget the Pokemon names. That fish that flops around. Anyway.
Magikarp.
Yeah, that was his vampire token. And he had a horsey token. Which was it was fine. Like all those things made sense to me, right? And then I kill his Crested Sunmare after he makes 1/5/5. And if I thought about it, I think I could have killed it that turn. Like I could have killed it in response. I don't remember. No, I couldn't have. No, I had to play the 2/2 Chupacabra to kill it. That's right. So anyway, I attack. He can't attack me back on the ground because I had a Death Toucher or something. Like I had a thing that stopped it. And out of his hand comes that 2/3. All your tokens have flying and vigilance or whatever. And I just completely get blown out by this flying 5/5 horsey out of nowhere. I'm like, damn you, Crested Sunmare.
Damn you, Crested Sunmare.
Damn you, Crested Sunmare. I mean, who was expecting a Crested Sunmare? Apparently nobody. I don't know if this guy lost a game, to be fair.
Nice.
Like, it was just like this regular token deck, and then all of a sudden it was just like, so can I have some 5/5, sir? And you were like, no, you can't. Oh, I guess you can have some 5/5s. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really impressed with the card. I know it's a Remy card, and I probably have shat on it numerous times, but it did some work. Like I said, man, there's something about a 5/5 flying vigilance horsey coming out your face holes. I would have won that game if at any turn before he had 11 lands in play. At any time, if I could have got a 5th land before he had 11 lands in play, I would have won. But them's the beats. Also, he what's the enchantment that exiles? Is Ixalan Bindings?
Yeah.
I think he Ixalan Bindinged the 3-mana artifact that when a creature dies, you gain a life, draw a card, and discard a card.
Okay.
As well as if you have enough creatures in your graveyard, you can go get the God Pharaoh's Gift. Like he Ixalan Binding it with 1 in my hand.
Yeah.
And then he Ixalan Binding something else, also trapping the other card in my hand. So both times that he Ixalan Binding, he hit a card in my hand. So, like, well played, sir. Well played. All right, so back to the PPTQ beats. I already mentioned I went 1, and 2, and then I went to go get some chicken wings. You went
0 and 3.
0 and 3 before you went home.
Yeah.
Did you get chicken wings? That's the important part.
Oh no, I had meatloaf.
Nice. Mom's meatloaf, right?
Yep.
That's solid.
Yeah, like I don't know, my deck it didn't show up. Like, I mean, it's been going, like it hasn't had like a losing week, but it hasn't, ever had a super, winning week either, I guess.
Like maybe its consistency is just a little bit off.
Yeah, like I've noticed ever since the rotation that it hasn't been as explosive or just it hasn't been as efficient. Like both of those things at the same time. But like this was the worst week that it's, had since I've built it. So I don't know what it is. It gives me a chance to look back on it and see what I need to change. But yeah, I know the first game that I played, it was like against a blue-white approach deck, which that one I generally have a good time against because they have a lot of creature removal and I have exactly 6 creatures.
Right.
And then like one of the games, he completely forgot about the Metalwork Colossus second ability, which everybody seems to forget.
Yeah, you can bring it back from the graveyard.
That you can bring it back from the graveyard. So what I did was he tried to kill it, he tried to exile it with a white card, and in response I flung it at him. He's like, okay, I guess I'll go down to 16. I'm like, all right. And he was tapped out. We had 3 mana open. Yeah, 3 mana. Because he had enough to do something else. And so I played my Marionette Master. And he was just like, let me read that. I'm like, okay. So he reads it, and he's like, it resolves. I'm like, all right, it resolves. He's like, yep. It's like, I put 3 counters on it. He goes, okay. I sacrifice these 2 artifacts. to use Metalwork Colossus ability. He's like, hold on, let me see that. And I'm like, okay, here you go. So he looks at it and he's like, okay. And I'm like, trigger on the stack. I'm gonna sacrifice these two to bring it back to my hand. Trigger on the stack. I'm gonna sacrifice those two to bring it back to my hand. He's like, okay. I'm like, okay, all the triggers resolve. You lose 24 life. And he's just like, wait, how? I was like, the Marionette Master. He goes, oh, all right, let's go to game 2. And
I will give it this for the most part. The people who come and play at the arena in general, but also people who play for our PBTQs, because it's a pretty, I don't want to say small community, but it wasn't huge. I think we had 40, and in Manhattan they had 44, so like it's pretty close.
Yeah.
But most of the people who come to our shop to play for these, I want to say it's like more important, or these regular REL tournaments or whatever, however you want to call them, are really good. Like they're good at taking the time and understanding things and being polite and respectful. We do have a few exceptions. In fact, I even pulled like a semi-douchey moment that we'll talk about in a second, and I would like to get your opinion on whether or not I was being a douche. But for the most part, people are pretty cool about stuff like that. So if you pull off some crazy combo that they didn't understand or they don't see, they're generally, for the most part, going to be like, all right, let's go to the next game. You know? So that was good. I'm glad at least you had, like, even though you didn't win, it sounds like you didn't have a bad time.
Right. No, I mean, I don't ever get salty about variance, because I know there's games that you're going to get flooded, and there's games you're going to get, like you're just not going to get any land. So when I say variance, I mean, mana issues, because every other card you put in the deck is there through some design. The only like issues that you'll ever have is with mana.
Right.
It's like if you claim that you don't get the right spell, then you shouldn't have put it in your deck.
Yeah, I think often for me, it's like I find myself, in regard to what you're talking about right here, I find that when I become upset because of things like that, it is almost always like 99% of the time, oh, good, here's my, I didn't get my 5th land until turn. My opponent had 11 and was sandbagging 2 lands.
Yeah.
Or, hey, this was the game that I had 13 lands.
Right.
But I managed to get 12 of them into play with my 4 other spells.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can usually take some sort of positive away from that, or put that kind of stuff in that manner. But sometimes I do understand, like, this card just never showed up. Like, I have 7 outs to this situation in my deck. I have approximately 22 cards left in my deck. I should have not quite 50-50, but close enough that in 4 draws I should be able to find it.
Right.
And then you just never find an answer. I like a Scarab God. Like, I've got 6 ways to exile a creature. And I know he doesn't have any counter spells, but at the moment, because I'm keeping his hand clear and he's just top decking land and putting it into play. So if I can just find one of these spells that exiles a creature, I'm good.
Yeah.
Nothing. Those are the kind of things that irritate me after the fact. Although, I tell my quick story about whether or not I'm a douchebag, and then you can tell me.
Okay.
My round 2 opponent, which is where I got my unintentional draw, he's a player who I've had problems with in the past for numerous issues, right? Sloppy play. I've had to answer judge calls on him on the past about him having problems. I've had him have like emotional outbursts at the table. He's got some issues, and he also has a known substance abuse issue, right? So I get paired up against him. We sit down at the table, and he's like, "Oh man, can I get some paper?" I'm like, "I only have this one sheet." And the judge is standing right there, waiting to deck check somebody a couple of tables down.
Yeah.
Right. So he goes, "Judge, can I get some paper?" And the judge goes, "You can go get a sheet of paper from the judge station over there." You know. So he's like, "Fine, whatever, man." And he gets up and he walks away. Not that big of a deal, right? But he already in the way that he's acting and the fact that he's misplaced paper and all this stuff already, because he's like, "I had some paper last round. I have no idea where it is." I go, "Judge, I would just like you to keep an eye on my opponent for mental state and, keep under consideration for being under the influence, because now you can't be under the influence at a Magic event, a regular RDL." And this is a player who is known to go out to the car for a pick-me-up between rounds. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I don't have a smeller, so I can't tell. And I've just always known this guy to act this way. So I don't know if it's worse, if he's just always a little bit buzzed. I don't know. But I know that the judges have been asked to kind of crack down a little bit harder on this stuff than normal. And my opponent goes, "Well, how would I even know?" I said, "I don't know. But the fact that he's already forgetting and misplacing stuff to play the game of Magic doesn't seem very on the up and up to me so far."
Yeah.
And the judge is like, "All right, well, I'll keep an eye on it." I wasn't asking for a ruling. I didn't call the judge to do that. If he wasn't already standing there, I wouldn't have even brought it up. But I have had problems with this guy in the past doing this kind of stuff. I don't know if it ever got called into question or ever had a problem. I said after I dropped, I went and got some wings, and then I came back and I watched another round or two of Magic, and then I took off because of my head hurt.
Yeah.
But I should actually probably ask him and see if it came up. But I don't know. Does that seem like a douchey thing to do, especially to an individual that has a known reputation for this?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a douchey thing, but I don't know, because I used to show up and I used to drink when I played Magic. And if someone called me out on it, then fine, because I've called out some guys here. It's like one of them, he enjoys playing Magic with me, but I don't go to the shop that he goes to anymore because I don't want to be around it. And he called me up one day. He's like, "Hey man, why don't you ever come down and play anymore?" I was like, "Well, I know you guys drink in between rounds, which is cool. I don't care. That's your life. You do your thing, but I don't want to be around it." So I don't think it's necessarily a douchey thing to do, especially if you've had issues with it before. And if it affected his gameplay and just the overall state of being.
Well, I mean, I know, for example, one of our regulars that tries to go, and we talk about him a lot actually in the abstract, but he goes to the various GPs and higher level tournaments. Apparently somebody called the judge on him for day 2 for smelling like beer.
Okay.
And if it wasn't for the fact that he was clearly not intoxicated, he would have gotten removed from that tournament.
Yeah.
He's just like, "Yeah, man, somebody was having a drink. We had, at lunch, and they spilled some on me." But his opponent was clearly in the correct for calling, within the rules at least, maybe not correct, to call the judge over. And like I said, if I was talking, I'm not talking about drinking. I'm talking about an illegal substance in the state of Kansas that I would very much like them to put on the very least the medical distribution over here. I'm talking about weed.
What? Oh man, I'm so glad you said that. I had no clue what you were talking about.
And didn't they literally just last week? Didn't they kick somebody out of a top 8 of a GP for being high? Isn't that going around? What? Oh wait, never mind. You're not on Facebook, so you don't see the articles that people are sharing on Facebook. But I feel like I just saw somebody post an article that came out about how he got removed from being able to make a top 8 because he's under the influence.
Okay.
Or perceived to be under the influence. I don't know. I'll scroll through this a little bit while we're talking and see if I can find it. But it's just, I feel like that's something that's important. Like keeping track of stuff like that. You know, being clean for a Magic tournament, stuff, things along those lines. And what kills me about this particular opponent is he refuses to keep track of his own life total. Or anyone's life total for that matter. He wrote energy down for the entire match, but he didn't keep track of life totals. So at one point he goes, hey, what life am I at? I could have told him anything.
Right.
And he wouldn't have. I didn't, obviously. I told him what I had. I said, I have you at X. What do you have yourself at? He goes, oh, I just trust you. And then I heard him tell somebody else later. He literally said, yeah, I don't bother keeping track of that stuff because the people around here are generally honest. And I would, I've never had a problem with that before.
Okay.
I just want to scream at some people that are like this, man. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, so what you're saying is by not making it a formal request, I definitely didn't. Just bringing it to the judge's attention was fine.
Right. Especially okay, since it's a competitive REL, they have to stand by the rules. And if you brought it to their attention, it's not a douche move. It's just you abiding by the rules.
Well, it's kind of like in my brain. Is it like letting a police officer know that your mom tends to speed and she'll be driving through his town? Like, yeah, mom and I are going to go to her place, right? And then you call your buddy police officer and you're like, hey, so I'm on my way to mom's house and she likes to do 20 miles over the speed limit, right? Cool. See you later.
Yeah. See, now that would be a douche thing to do.
Well, I mean, in my brain, that's where I'm at.
Maybe not for you because you don't really like your mom or stepmom or something.
Like my mother, reasonable amounts. Where she
reasonable amounts.
My mom's good persons. I mean, to her other kids, not me.
True.
Anyway, so I ordered some popper cards. I guess we'll hard segue here. Let me actually pull up my Amazon. The only reason I bought them.
By the way, my mom's speeding. Also, popper.
That's right. That's how I do, yo. Let's see.
Remember that thing we weren't talking about that's completely unrelated? Well, here it is now.
I do my best. To put in the smooth transitions. So I ordered 2 Glint Hawks. That was something that I asked you to keep an eye out for, right?
Yeah.
So I went ahead and I bought 2. They were 58 cents a piece, shipped from Amazon. Woo, big spender.
Yep.
I got 4 of the Cool Dotha rebirths.
Oh, yeah.
Also at 58 cents a piece. Woo, big spender. And those should be here, I don't know, sometime next week. Then I ordered 4 Augur of Bolus. Woo, 47 cents each. And then I ordered 2 Rally the Peasants for 59 cents, baby. Woo! There you go. Did I order anything else? Oh, I also ordered 4. It's +2/+2 to all attacking creatures.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, the thing with flashback. Yeah, okay.
No, creatures you control get +2/+0 to end of turn. But it's got flashback.
Attacking creatures.
Nope, just your creatures.
Oh, it just happens.
Yeah, so you can use it on defense too. And then I ordered 4 Ichor Wellsprings.
Okay.
So, and those were 65 cents a piece. So basically what I did was I took my affiliate program money that they gave me eventually, and I just used it to buy some popper cards that I needed. And now I don't have an excuse anymore to not pay popper. That's how I feel. I'm a big fan of the artifact deck. Pull up MTG Goldfish here while we're talking. What is it called? I think now, yeah. Cthulhu Boros, I think, is the current list.
Okay, Cobalt Bora.
Yeah, but I actually still prefer the version that is the Jeskai version. Is it going to come up? I don't think it's going to come up. Let's put you over here. Stop. Let's just put the whole screen up, I guess. There we go. So I like this deck a lot, and I have most of these cards. I do think I still like the version that splashes blue. Battle Screeches are expensive, though. They're $6 a piece. I was not going to spend an additional $6 each for Battle Screeches. So if you find some of those, send them my way.
What set are they from?
I think Judgment. Judgment. And I don't know how much I played, but they were like less than $3 until basically this release when Pauper had a surge.
Right.
But other than that, I think I have all these cards. Maybe I don't have Galvanic Blasts. But I think they may have been more than $1 each too. I don't know. But yeah, so I want to put this thing together. And then I'll start fiddling with it to see if I want to make it blue or not. But I thought that was worth it. And then I also figured if I was going to do that, I might as well put together the Mono Blue Delver deck. Because I have all these cards. Apparently, I need to start selling Gushes.
Yeah.
That was something that you actually informed me about when you were down here, that Gushes had a big spike.
Yeah, I really enjoy the random like explosion. I know most people are like, "Oh, that's a bad thing." Blah blah. I think it's funny.
Yeah, I mean when a card randomly becomes popular, and it especially when it's something
did there.
Especially when something like comes up in Pauper or in Commander, a place that you don't necessarily expect it to pop and go into high gear. Because, you know, like if you're like me and you're somebody who like kind of keeps an eye on Modern, even though you don't really love it, but you definitely keep an eye on Standard. So you're used to seeing the spikes come from there, and then all of a sudden you're like checking out MTG stocks, and like this completely random card is like this huge mover or shaker. So I'm looking at stocks right now. Look at the weekly winners for this last week. Goblin Lore has had a massive spike, percentage-wise anyway. It was 69 cents last week, and it's draw 4 cards, then discard 3 at random from your hand.
Yep.
It's out of the starter deck or whatever, and now it's randomly like $9.
Yep.
So 700% plus jump in spike. You know, when a card like that does that, you have to stop and look at it. Gorilla Shaman has had a almost 300% spike. So where did Gorilla Shaman come out of? You know what I mean? It is a Pauper card. I will probably play some in my Pauper list. But is it because Pauper really has taken off that much? Like, I realize that Goldfish is starting to play some Pauper.
Mm-hmm.
But not enough for these kind of spikes, right?
Right. Well, it's not even because of him.
Like
it's not even because of that channel.
He's moving to Pauper because it has become randomly just more popular to play Pauper in general.
Right, because the professor has been like pushing it.
Oh, so
really
you think
hard.
It's the professor is doing it, kind of thing?
Yes,
that's fair.
Like, Wizards has actually flown him to 3 separate events.
Well, when you become a certain amount of popular, then yeah, it makes sense for them to support you. Just like the cosplayer, just like,
Right. And like
us.
they
They should invite us. They should pay
right.
for us to go to the Pro Tour.
But like they were specifically sending him there for the popper events because he's been pushing it and pushing it. It's like, dude, look at all these people who love to play it at their, local stores or whatever. How great would it be to have it as a side event? And I don't know the numbers for Santa Clara, but GP, like they sent him to Santa Clara, they sent him to Houston, and they sent him to London. The one at Houston had 245 players or
For
something like
popper,
that for Popper for a side event,
pretty
one
reasonable.
side event. And then the one in London had 302 players.
It's also reasonable.
Yeah, especially for a side event. There's time when
Well,
it's difficult to like fire a a standard side event.
I mean, I don't want to talk about trying to fire any kind of tournament around here, but yeah.
Right. Now imagine like having 300 people in a room and you're just like, can I just get 8 of you? And everyone's just like, nah.
Yeah,
Like, all right, cool, cool. Well,
I understand exactly how that feels. I don't know. Let's see. What else we have? No cards for you. So Travis successfully missed the window to get the cards that he asked for me to get last week.
yeah, thanks
Thought this,
everybody else in my vehicle.
I thought that was pretty interesting. So Travis comes up to me. I had him, I think, on Friday, where I kind of expected you, kind of didn't. Saw you for a second, and then you had to leave. And then I didn't bring them on Saturday, or on Sunday, where I knew I would see you, and then didn't bring them in I had them in my draft box and not my deck box for the tournament. So
Right.
awesome. Let's see. The only other thing I want to talk about is I'm working on a deck, and I'm missing a couple of cards.
Okay.
I believe this is somewhere between 30 and 32 right now. And I'm trying to figure out, do I have a room for a 33rd and 34th card, or do I just play extra lands, or what? So, 4 Fatal Pushes.
Okay.
Currently have 3 Cut to Ribbons, although I think I like the idea of running 4.
Okay.
4 Treasure Maps. Let's see, get the rest of try to get these things kind of lined up. Remington brought them to me, and now they're all a mess.
Of course.
I like 2 of the Bontu's Last Reckonings. As a side note, I've called this card Bontu's Bad Day so much now. I literally played it, and then the next turn, somebody asked me what I thought of the card by its card name. I had no idea what they were talking about.
See, and that's actually picked up here too. Like I tapped 3 mana the other day when I was playing, and I tapped 2 black, like specifically 2 black and a colorless, and they're like, "Ooh, is this Bontu's Bad Day?" I'm like, what is that?
Yeah,
Like,
my point is merely that nicknames, I think, sometimes become more well known than the actual card.
yeah,
Like if you said Bob, you would instantly know that I'm talking about a Dark Confidant.
right.
But if somebody just randomly says Dark Confidant, you may not think of that, associate that name with that card. Again, for me, it's super bad, I think. Then I've got 3 Vona's Hungers. Because I really like them. I think they're well positioned right now. But you know me, I always like edict effects.
Yeah.
They could also be Doomfalls. I'm trying to figure out which is better and which numbers. I think Doomfalls probably got just like a hair more on it overall, but I'm not sold on that. In the 4 slot, I have 4 Tezzerets. This Schemer.
Oh yeah.
Scheming. I really like this guy. In general, you guys know that. Then I have 4 Pirates Pillage. That's the 4 mana sorcery, discard a card, draw 2, but make 2 treasures. I'm a big fan of these kind of cards. 4 mana is really expensive for this effect, but you're getting 2 treasures. Remington pointed out to me that every one of these spells cost 1 extra now to get an extra treasure later. And I was like, what? And then we pulled out the counter target creature spell, but you get a treasure, it costs 3 instead of 2. This thing makes 2 treasures. You pay 4 mana. Otherwise, it's Tormenting Voices.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, that's fair assessment. Then we have 3 Vraska's Contempt. Just the way to get rid of guys forever and ever and a day. I currently still have 1 Revels in the Riches in the list. I have 1 Scarab God. Then I have 3 Marionette Masters and 2 Brass's Bounties. So I'd have to stop and count things. But 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 25, 30. So this is currently 30 cards. I need to decide if I'm going to run, like, do I run some amount of Spell Swindles? Do I run some main deck Golden Demises? Do I run do I go 4 color and run, here's one, Hidden Stockpiles? Do we run the 2 mana counter target creature, but then you get a treasure? Like, I'm just not sure what these last few cards are for this deck. And I'm not sure if I'll know until I get a chance to really play it, but this feels like it has a more diverse win the game than the previous versions of this, except maybe the white, the Esper version. I think this Grixis version is just stronger. I don't know. What do you think? And you guys too. Feel free to tweet us or email us.
I definitely think 1 Spell Swindle, because I mean the rest of your cards, like you said, it's like you're paying mana now to get a treasure later.
So basically, right now, I think it's called Hornswoggle.
Yeah,
is a possible card that will do that, and Pirates Pillage definitely does that. But those are the only cards that do that. I do get the potential treasures out of the treasure maps and the pseudo treasures from the schemer.
Yeah.
But I really don't have like a lot of things that like just make treasures.
Right.
Like obviously the Brass's Bounty makes a lot of treasures too, but I do like the Spell Swindles. The previous version of the deck was running 3 in the main. But I felt like there's too much on the top end. Like for cards that cost less than 3 right now, I've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 removal spells.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4 treasure maps. So like below 4, so 3s and less, it's like all removal, which is good. Right. It's nice to have a lot of removal, but at the same time, it's like I don't necessarily have a lot of early game options. Big sneeze. Ooh. So I don't know. I'm looking for something. I'm not sure what it is. If it's...
I think it just needs to be like filters or like cantrips.
I was just going to say it could be like a prism. It could be... what's the look at 2 or the scry 1, draw 1? My problem with that is I don't necessarily know if I want more blue mana. Like I like the blue splash, but I don't know how much I need it early or want it early. See if there's a list on Goldfish that has anything even close. With the Mardu vehicles, I don't know if I want, because vehicles actually made a pretty good splash for us at the PPTQ. Do I need some amount of the lightning bolt / shatter? I can't think what it's called.
A braid?
A braid, thank you. Or do I want unlicensed disintegrations? Like this was another card I was thinking about making the cut, but instead I just went with the cut to ribbons instead because it
Yeah.
doubles as a condition.
Well, I'm like, so my thing is, I don't know, the Mardu vehicles just it gets shut down so easily.
I don't disagree. I think that it did beat me one of the games.
See, and that's the only deck that I beat on all of Sunday was the Mardu vehicles, and that was, like before we even started.
Yeah, I don't know. I think most of the time I'd win that matchup, but in this case, I stumbled one too many turns in a row. Again, the deck I was playing was not this. The deck I was playing was Esper Gifts, and it was a lot of fun. I really liked it, but I think this is where I need to be for the season after the fact. Let's see. Looking over at Grixis Energy, looks like the Phoenixes are in everything.
Oh yeah,
just everywhere.
Except for this sweet pirate deck that I'm building.
I don't know. Like, is this a moment where I should play? Should I play my 2/2 haste Admiral? Right, Admiral Brass. I think she's an admiral. Maybe she's a captain.
Yeah, she's admiral.
She's an admiral in my heart.
What?
I don't like that.
She's also not a 2/2.
Then which
nor
is the
does
one
she have haste?
The 2/2 that haste when she attacks, she makes a treasure.
Yeah, that's Captain Lannery Storm.
Okay.
Shit, man, learn your pirates.
I don't know anything's name. All right. Well, should I don't necessarily want to have cards for their removal to turn on. I want them to take their removal out against me. But Captain Lannery seems pretty hot in this list right now.
She's beast.
So I don't know if I want something like that. Do I want a Hezeret? Do I want... Let's see. The Black God is useless, right? It only turns on if you sacrifice a creature.
Yeah. You could always just
the Blue God would be okay.
Throw a bunch of money into nothing and play the Scorpion God.
Yeah, I just, again, I feel like it's too expensive. 5 mana, right? And then 3 mana to use its ability.
Yeah. And then you might draw cards.
I feel like if I'm going to do that, I'm just better served, playing the Blue God instead.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really need like a cheap black planeswalker, like a Lily that costs 3 mana. Or
the closest I can do is Angrath.
It's pretty good. Pretty close. I mean, I could play an Angrath too and just move the curve up and then play like 2 Angraths and then play 2 extra lands. And have 26 lands instead of 24. Which would be fine. And then you have 2 Angraths as additional ways to win the game. Might be okay. I think I have 2, but one of them's like the pre-release foil. So I need to like ship that off hopefully for some dollar bills. What else is... Well, here's the Esper Gift list. Bastards. Still don't see a write-up on it or how to... Oh, this isn't the same version even. I could play some Hostage Takers. What do you think of that? I'm not a big fan.
I think they're fun. They're fun. Plus, you can get them back with the Scarab God.
Yeah, I run 1 Scarab God. So it doesn't come back very often. What else is in here? Like I feel like there has to just be something that you can put in that's just like the sweetest thing. And you just bring it out of the board sometimes. Or how about a Nessa Steward of Elements? Like it's a 3 mana planeswalker. It's not easy for me to cast on turn 3. But if I ever like top deck her after like the 2 of her I have after the late game has gone through, I don't know, her 0 is not great though. Yeah.
Isn't she like she doesn't really do anything though?
She scries 2 and then she wins the game for -6.
Yeah. Sounds like a lot.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know. Anyone has any ideas? Feel free to shoot them at me. I'm just not real sure what to do.
And as
For this
usual, I'm a
last,
big help.
you're amazing. You're the best.
That's what I like to tell
What
myself.
about
And other people.
what's that red pirate that comes down for 2 mana and you like steal one of their sorceries or instants or something out of their graveyard and then you can cast it? Is that guy good enough?
You mean Direfleet Daredevil?
Yeah, is that guy good enough to run as a 2 of?
It could be. He's in my sideboard.
Hmm.
But like at the same time, what if you're playing like he's specifically sideboard? Because like if you played a deck then that doesn't have any good, spells in the yard, then you just have a 2/1 with first strike.
Which seems okay in this world of like vehicles and like bad creatures attacking. Like menace creatures that generate an energy or something.
Yeah.
Like pseudo bobs. I don't know. I'm not sure what to do. I need, like I said, somewhere between 2 and 3 more cards. And it could just be, hey, Samus, just play an extra cut and cut to ribbons and then play like this card randomly. A card I actually was considering is a Prophetic Prism. Like it's 2 mana, it draws a card, replaces itself, filters. And it seems to hit most of the only reason I knew I had one back there. The reason why I turned around to grab it. Seems okay. If we had something like Anticipate, I'd play it, but I don't think we have Anticipate right now, right? I don't think so.
No.
What about Sword Point Diplomacy?
I love that card.
Like 2 of them as like a 3 mana draw card spell. Could be okay. And then I could switch from Bantu's Bad Days to like some combination of that and 3 damage to all creatures.
Right.
I don't know.
That sounds good.
Well, it's just the upside is that cycles to help me. Like if I draw it and I don't want it, then I can still try to get where I need to go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you want to talk about your pirate deck real fast, or?
Sure.
It's basically the same thing that we've been working on, where it's like 30 some pirates.
It's like 23 pirates.
All right. Well, hit me. You got 3 minutes. Excite me with your words.
Well, in that case, talk about something else for a minute while I sort this out.
Okay.
Because I've just been shuffling and like play testing it really quick.
Well, that's fine. If you don't want to get too deep into it because it's not ready, I mean.
Oh no, it's. I mean, I haven't played it at any events yet, like any F&Ms, but it's ready. I just don't know how good it's going to be. But that doesn't mean
the question with pirates. Oh no, I said, isn't that the question with pirates? Like it doesn't seem like it's a real deck yet. Maybe after rotation it will be.
No, I think it'll be. I think it's real right now. You just have to find the right combo because there's so many. It's like, do I want to do? You can do mono blue flying pirates and just completely run over people with favorable wins. Like that's a real thing.
Yeah, I have seen that. I think is it Saffron that's talking about a like Jeskai. I think he streamed it the other day. I haven't got a chance to fast forward through it yet. But he did like a Jeskai Flyers deck the other day.
Okay.
And again, I don't know if it worked or not. Let me see if I can find their YouTube channel real fast and see. But please spell words. Yeah, he did the Jeskai wins. Pause it. Here's the deck. So the Jeskai wins is like the Siren Storm Tamers, the Warkite Marauders, ran the Dinosaur, Thalia, couple of Phoenixes, a couple of Glory Bringers, and then of course the favorable winds. Like that all seems fine, but pirate wise, like you have 2 flying pirates. You have a third one that has landfall, but other than that, it starts to get real fuzzy.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, because I think there's like 5 total flying pirates that are just blue.
I mean, that could be a true statement. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you have this siren spell something or another.
Right, you have the 1-drop.
Yeah, and then you have the 2-drop with raid that like gets a 1/1 counter.
Right, and then isn't the 1/2? No, that's a different guy. I say there's a 1/2 that like when it attacks it, you get to add an extra counter, but I think that's a artificer, not a pirate.
No, there's a 2/1 that when it deals damage, for each permanent on or each counter on a permanent or a player, put another one of that type on there.
Yeah, I thought that was you just get to pick one.
It's probably just one. I don't know, but it's a 2/1 flyer for 2. There's a dude that when it attacks, it flies. It's a 2/1 for 2.
Yeah, just when it attacks. If it attacks, it's flying.
Yeah. But it still gets the bump off the winds, and it's still a pirate.
Right.
Then you have the 4-drop that has flash flying. It can only block creatures with flying, and when it comes in, if you control another pirate, tap 2 non-land permanents.
Yeah, the siren, right?
Yeah, the big siren. So there's 5. I'm pretty sure there's the one when it attacks, target creature is a 0/1 with no abilities.
Right, that's the Warkite Marauder. I really like that guy.
Yeah, so there's like 6 creatures with 6 pirates with flying. They're all blue. And like if you go into black, then you have the freebooter. There's a 4-drop that has Ascend. That like I can't remember what it does. It costs 2 colorless and 2 black. It's a 2/4 flying Ascend. You reveal a top card. Each opponent like loses something where it's the CMC.
Okay, but my question is, doesn't all these things just get crushed by the multitude of like 12 removal spells, 6 of which are board wipey?
Not if you play counter spells.
Suppose that's true.
Yeah,
a lot of these lists that I've looked at don't run a lot of counter spells, so
well, maybe they should.
Maybe. Also, Aethersphere Harvesters, I guess, would be a good addition to something like that, right?
Oh yeah, it's a 3/5 flyer that can gain lifelink.
Yeah,
that's pretty neat.
I don't know. I just if anyone was going to make pirates work, I figured it would be Chris, and he told me after McMahon.
Oh, okay.
And he told me basically after a week of trying very hard to make it work, because he's an aggro player by nature, trying to make it work, because he's like, dude, there's like a bunch of 2/2s for 1 in pirates in red, right? Because you got the one that costs 1 if you can reveal a pirate. You've got the one that if you attacked, basically it's got a raid trigger that gives it an extra +1/+1 counter.
Yep.
Like you've got all of these 2 mana 1-drops or 2 power 1-drops now with pirates, and he's like, yeah, you just get beat by all these crazy mid-range decks. Like you're not fast enough to get through them, and you don't have enough stuff to get past them.
Right.
You don't have the reach that you want in a deck like that.
Well, and
I'm just like, isn't there a falter? Like, can't a falter just win at that point?
A Vaulter.
Falter? Creatures without flying can't block?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think there is. All right, so mine isn't really aggro as much as it is mid to late game, but it still just has a bunch of like 2 and 3 drops.
All right, well, hit me.
All right, so first I'm just going to go with the spells. 4 shocks.
I feel like I stalled enough.
Yeah. Well, I've been done for a few minutes now. So yeah, 4 shocks, 4 lightning strikes, 4 lookout dispersal, which it's basically, it costs 2 mana if you have a pirate. and it gets countered unless I pay 4. So it's a better sensor without cycling. And then 4 chart the course, so 16 spells.
It's not the worst.
And then for creatures, I do have a playset of the Daring Buccaneers, the 1-drop 2/2 that if you reveal a pirate, it's a 1-drop. 4 Kite Sail Freebooters, because it's probably the second best card in Standard and possibly Modern Humans right now.
Okay. I mean, that's a lot of words, but I'll take your word for it.
Then I think the card that it's not really getting as much love as I want it to, the Stormfleet Sprinter. It costs colorless blue-red. It's 2/2 with haste that can't be blocked.
I really like that guy.
See, this is where I think the reach comes with this deck. Is this card?
I forget, did you say you had the pirate gets +1 in double strike?
No.
Okay.
I don't have that in here. The Buccaneers something or another.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah. But then I have 2 Protean Raiders, which that's the one. It's a colorless blue-red 2/2. If you attack with a creature this turn, it may enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield.
Right, the clone.
Yep. So there's 2 of those. And then the rest is, well, I have another playset, and then the rest are just one-ofs.
Okay.
So
like,
I have
all the legends, probably.
not really, just 1 legend.
Okay.
So I have the 4 Forerunners of the Coalition, which those are really fun to stack on top of each other, especially since I can get up to 6 in this deck.
Okay.
So I have 4 of those to go get my one-ofs. The one-ofs being a single Rune Raider.
Okay.
Which, that's the raid Bob.
Right.
A single Rowdy Crew just to dig through the deck, and it might become a 5/5. Who knows? A single Deadeye Brawler, simply because it's a 2/4 with Death Touch that I can draw a card if I have the city's blessing. And then I have the Dire Fleet Netbreaker, just because I'm going to be attacking.
Right.
And they'll all get +2. And so with the Storm Fleets, that's 4 damage unblockable. And then I have the 1 Admiral Beckett Brass also, which says other pirates get 1/1, and beginning my end step, gain control of a non-land permanent controlled by a player who has dealt combat damage by 3 or more pirates this turn.
So I just want to quickly point out, I feel like you're not playing the best pirate at your disposal.
Which is?
A Metallic Mimic.
Oh, yeah, I don't care about that.
Okay. I feel like that would be a good pirate in this list right now.
Yeah, it probably
especially
would.
Like you play it on 2, you attack with it on 3, you clone it on 3, and then boom, boom, all the rest of your pirates are huge.
Right. So my sideboard, I currently have 1 Blood Sun for the Search to Azcanta, the flip side of that. Because and then that the colorless one, the Ascend where they draw cards.
That card's real good.
Yeah. I don't need those lands doing anything, so I'm good with that.
Yeah, last week that was my bomb in my draft pool. So the one game that I actually got it, I flipped it over, I won. I mean, surprise.
Right. So I have 3 negates for control decks. I'm debating on Hornswoggle, simply because if there's bigger creatures than what I can deal with, I want, if I see it in game 1 or game 2, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I think I'm warming up to Hornswoggle a lot, actually. This delayed mana thing, although Essence Scatter is probably just as good.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a question of whether or not, 3 mana is more efficient than getting an extra mana the next turn.
Well, for me, it's for me, I chose Hornswoggle because this is a Grixis deck,
It just helps with the mana
and
a little bit.
yeah, it helps with the mana. That's the only reason I have it.
That's fair.
Um, I have 2 Direfleet Daredevils. Again, it's a pirate. If they have something that I want, I'll get it. I have 2 Crafty Cutpurse because there are a few token decks running around
Okay.
in our meta. So it's just like, oh, you're cycling? Cool. I want the Drakes.
Right. These are mine now.
Or yeah, or there's one guy who has the black white token list where it just makes the, huge number of servos.
Right.
Like the one that embalms the
Yeah,
you,
one
you
of
know the dude.
the Processions-esque deck.
Yeah. So it's like, no. I get those things, but thanks for trying.
Right.
So those.
Yeah, if I ever thought Cub was going to come to a real tournament, I would bring those in too.
Then I have 2 fiery cannonades because 2 damage to each non-pirate creature.
Right. I almost would suggest that those were main, but I see why they're in the sideboard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I can overwhelm them more than they can overwhelm me, it's a plus. But now here's the issue that I'm having. Do I run a 3rd cannonade and 1 Angrath? Or do I just run 2 Angraths?
So I like Pyroclasm all the time. Lots of
Yeah.
Pyroclasm. Like that's a me card. I've been a proponent of 4 Pyroclasms basically my entire Magic career.
So you're saying I should run 3?
Yeah, I think I just run as many Pyroclasms as I can shove in there. And if there's a slot, like you can even questionably get away with moving 1 to the main.
Yeah.
And then putting... Because when it's bad, it's bad.
Right.
But even if you top deck it and it's okay, it's great.
Right.
It's kind of like that first duress. Like a lot of people are like, do you play 1 duress or do you play 4? I'm like that guy who's like, yeah, I'm not sure. It really depends because sometimes the 1 duress is great. You play the first one, then all of a sudden they got to fear the rest of them. But if it's not in your opening hand, it's just like trash. So I don't know. I'd put 1 in your main for sure.
All right. So the sideboard is currently the 13 cards, and then I have 2 slots, and I'm thinking either 2 Angrath.
Again, the reason I bring that up is because if you can put 1 in the main, and then you run a 3rd in the board, because when they're great, they're so great you always want it.
Yeah.
And that way, then it just instantly makes sense that you can go from essentially 0 to the max number with sideboarding.
Okay.
So I would put 3 in there in the sideboard and find a place to put 1 in the main.
Okay.
And then put whatever miscellaneous card that's just okay that you move. I would put that in the board.
Okay.
Now an Angrath is reasonable. If there's a falters are good. Obviously that +1/+1 and double strike for pirate would be a solid card to put in there.
Yeah.
Like the question starts to become: is there decks that automatically beat you, and you have to sideboard to beat those decks, or are you just worried about like general weaknesses of your deck that you're trying to sideboard around?
Well, I don't know because I need the Crook of Condemnation. Like that's a big card because I know in our meta we have a couple guys running the gift variants. The different gift cards.
Yeah. I was
like
just thinking
Pharaoh's gift.
the things that kind of caused me problems. Again, that's what I played this weekend. Completely cold, no sideboard, nobody watching it online because I couldn't find anybody playing it. So I'm just trying to think of the cards that mess with me besides the land.
Right. And like my main issues are I'm not sure, like I know I want to shut down the Scarab God. So like there's like 3 decks that run the Scarab God here. or like 3 players, if not more. So it's like I'm thinking I need Crook of Condemnation simply because Scarab got OP. Like,
See, I'm trying to figure out why people just aren't playing the. Is it Deicide? Whatever
yeah,
that spell is,
the
that black.
hour,
Yeah, the 4-mana hour spell. I don't know why
yeah,
people just aren't playing it.
because I don't have it.
Oh, it can't be more. It's got to be like in your dollar rare box or
Yeah,
whatever.
probably, but that would require me to go find it. But like, even
For me,
still,
I
with
think that would be a far better use of your time and energy than trying to like cram in a card that exiles the graveyard.
right, I mean, and still, it's still just entertaining to me because like, if I have the 2/4 that has Death Touch, then I'm killing the Scarab God, then I'm exiling it. Or like, if they're trying to exile one of my creatures and like, or they're trying to return one of my creatures, I just exile it in response. So it's like, okay, you wasted your mana. I mean, yeah, you got a 5/5, but
Yeah,
I
like you get the
potentially have
chance
a
to do
field,
that once.
huh?
I said you basically get to do that once, and then they're going to wait and use their mana more wisely.
Yeah, I doubt it.
So instead, I'd rather just have a removal spell. Like if you told me that I'm going to show up to a Friday Night Magic, and 50% of my meta is going to be running 2 or more Scarab Gods in their list,
Yeah.
I would play at least three of those cards in there. I cannot for the life of me think what it's called. I'll jump on Gatherer and it'll probably take me an hour to find it. Let's see. That's the Amonkhet 2 set, right? Hour Devastation.
Yep.
And it's
Anyways, for my land base in this, it's pretty generic. I have the 4 unclaimed territories.
Hour of Glory. Keep
Okay.
going.
So I have the 4 unclaimed territories. I have 4 Spire Bluff Canals, 4 Drowned Catacombs, and then 2 islands, 2 swamps, and 5 mountains.
I mean, that seems fine. If you don't have room for the desert sacrifice to clear out the graveyard. I forget what that's
The
called.
Scavenger Grounds?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I could probably take out a Drowned Catacomb for that.
Like if you had room, like that's the card that was getting me, and I shouldn't say was getting me, but it caught me by surprise. Again, the guy, the horse token guy who ended up winning our PPTQ. I think he was main decking 4 of them for Scarab Gods.
Hell yeah.
So like, I think that that might be a surprisingly good card. Quick side note: Hour of Glory is 5 out of 5 on Gather. How many votes does it have, Travis?
0.
0.
I love how Wizards has their entire like, oh no, this is a perfect card. We did it, you guys. It's good.
Right.
Don't even question us. So speaking of perfect cards, have you seen? So you're on the Gatherer, right?
I am currently.
All right, go to Jade Light Ranger.
Oh my god, so many words to type.
JADELIGHT.
I don't know. Use your words. Let's not have quiet time while I try to
Oh,
find
okay.
things.
Yeah. So.
Okay, the double explore guy.
Yeah.
That's all right, now say.
Go read the ruling on it, like the very last entry on the ruling.
If resolving a spell or ability instructs a specific creature to explore, but that creature has left the battlefield, the creature still explores. If you reveal a non-land card this way, you won't put a 1/1 counter on anything, but you may put the reveal card into your graveyard. Effects that trigger whenever a creature you control explores trigger is appropriate.
Okay, that's not the last one. That's like the first one. Read the very top ruling.
The very top ruling.
Yeah.
So how do you do last? How do you do first in? Like there's
Because
4.
if it's entered, it goes, it's there at the bottom. And then they use the stack.
Okay. Okay.
That's how Wizards works with the stack.
Okay, that's not. They're all probably entered. They were all entered probably within the seconds of each other. If you
Yeah, that's
reveal a
fine.
non-land card and the first time Jade Light Ranger explodes and leave it on top of your library, you'll receive the same card the second time it explores. If you don't pretend to be surprised, it'll hurt Jade Light Ranger's feelings. Is that the one you wanted to?
Yes.
Okay.
It's such a good entry.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right, everybody. Well, with that, I think we're going to call it a show. As always, you can check out this and all past versions of the show at samusgarobo.com. Also, Travis, now that you're basically, I don't want to say unemployed, but unhoused, homeless, I need you to start writing for the website.
I'm not homeless.
Basically homeless.
I have 2 houses.
Practically homeless. You can send us an email, the number 2trollsbrew@gmail.com. I didn't check this week, but I imagine there's nothing there.
I have the same number of living spaces as you do.
Basically homeless. Twitch.tv/SamusGarobo. No, that's it. Just the one Twitch. Twitter.com/SamusGarobo. TurtlePower319 on Twitter if you want to reach Travis. Travis is currently Facebookless. So therefore, you're getting all sorts of Travis action. All the stuff that you would have gotten on Facebook, Travis, is now on Twitter, Travis.
With less words.
With less words. And also, of course, please check out, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We had a bunch of you do that this week. It really does help a lot. I need to get to 1,000 followers on YouTube as quickly as possible. Subscribers, I forget what they're called. So please jump over there, hit the button. Even if that's all you do, I don't care. Please go help me out and give us a subscription over there. Otherwise, Travis, thank you very much for being part of the show, good buddy. And I'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Troll on, everybody.
Yee.
Say troll on so I can end the bloody show.
Bloody show.
I hope the Rogaine gets put in your beard shampoo.
Thanks. Won't that make it grow more?
No.
Isn't that a positive thing that you just told me? Like, you're trying to upset me by giving me more beard? I use the same wash on my beard as I do my hair, so if they get Rogaine on that, then I'm just kind of like...
It'll make your testicles little. Troll on.
Yeah, well,